Hi there. I'm Linden Thorp. I'm an embodiment mentor, and this is Lodestone Lunch. This is a weekly session for coaches and educators to help them to use embodiment and also to um, get some nurturing. I'm calling myself the coach nurturer. Having been in education myself for 50 years, actually, um, I realize that people who coach and teach very often don't have strong roots or strong emotional, spiritual background. And so it's really hard work and they get burnt out very easily. I know so many teachers who have suffered from burnout or nervous breakdown, as we used to call it. And I myself have never suffered from that because of my spirituality and because of my work as an embodiment mentor, balancing the body, spirit, and mind, the three aspects of human beings. All human beings have these three aspects. I've always found that extremely important, and my spiritual pathway has always made me able to look after myself. So, to manage my spirit and my body and my mind um, means that I've never broken down. But I know many coaches have, many teachers have. And in fact, my own brother did when he was a new teacher at the age of 23 or something, brilliant mind, but his body was weak. And I see now in retrospect that his mind was kind of overpowering and too brilliant. And so his body was sending signals of distress which he couldn't receive. And so he had a complete nervous breakdown and never could teach again, ever. Never, ever taught again. No psychiatrist or psychologist would support him in applying for any more teaching jobs. So his body really let him down. I think this is really interesting. Um, so today, then, I'd like to talk a little bit about the heart and the lungs. There are four main inner compasses, and I work with them all the time with my Lodestone product. My Lodestone was developed this year. It's the culmination of many years of working with um, people's bodies and people's spirits and minds. And so I decided to create a product, which I'd been longing to do for ages, but never had time. And this product is doing so well because it really stabilizes people, and it allows them to get feedback from the vagus nerve, which is the 10th cranial nerve, but the most important one really comes down from the brain, down the sides of the face, down into the chest and down into the gut, and across the shoulders into the arms. So it's the major feedback nerve. If your vagus nerve is not working properly, if the tone is poor, then of course you're not going to receive the signals. And that's what happened to my brother. He had suffered very much as a child from asthma and all associated conditions, kind of profound asthma, really, real breathing problems, and terrifically scared of not being able to breathe. So his body was very weak. And when he started teaching, he was filled with missionary zeal to teach, being an educator like most of my family members have been. But his body was really weak. And so, really, after just a very short time, less than 2 years, he had a complete nervous breakdown. And had to be hospitalized and could never work again in that capacity. So I have lived with that example. And by contrast, I didn't have such a brilliant mind as he did, but I always looked after my body and my spirit in a way that he didn't. And so I've never experienced it, and I've been teaching all my life. So it's really important to recognize, if you're a coach or an educator, that you have your limitations. You're very busy looking after other people, and that's wonderful, and people need it. But if you are not looking after yourself, or you have no one else to nurture you, then you're in danger of burning out. And the problem is that burnout creeps up on you. You don't know it's happening until it's happened, and then it's too late. And so then a very long process of recovery starts, and it really does take a long time because it's a total breakdown. Yeah. And it happens in the nervous system. People think it happens in the mind. No, it does not. The mind is just a small organ between the ears. It's a great tool, but it's not the only tool. We have many other tools which we neglect. I didn't neglect them, and so I never suffered from that. Um, and so, yeah, basically, it's really important if you're a coach or educator or mentor to get nourishment yourself. Really important. And during my time as a teacher, I often ran lunchtime meetings to get people in touch with their spirits, to do some meditation. I'm a meditation teacher and a Buddhist priest, and it helped many, many people. And this is what I want to do now for you. So if you're interested in being nurtured completely confidentially, then please DM me and join me on Lodestone Lunch. I'll be here every lunchtime, just for 45 minutes or so. Today, then, I'd like to give you a short presentation, very short. Let me just share my screen. Here it is. Just to set the scene a little bit. Here we go. Just beginning to share. There we are. Let's move myself over here so I can go into slideshow. Let me give you a okay. So my product is called Lodestone. It's especially good for coaches and educators. And basically, it works through the compasses of the body. If you were with me last week, you would have heard me say there are 4 inner compasses. The brain, brainstem, and pineal gland between the eyes. Then we come down to the throat and the heart and the lungs. This is this area in the upper chest. Then the solar plexus, which is just below your breastbone. And then finally, right at the base of your spine is your base chakra. And this is a tremendous location for energy. This is where we generate all our energy. And if you ever feel really tired, it probably starts in the low back. So many people suffer from low back problems. This is profound tiredness. And if your 4 compasses are not calibrated properly, then the main stress will show in your lower back. So yeah, my product is called Lodestone. You can see here, I'm Linden Thorp. I also have partnered with Zinzino, which is the scientific aspect of my approach. Zinzino is a Norwegian company of natural health. It provides home blood tests, which are really simple to administer, And then the tests are analyzed, and balance oils are provided, which are 100% pure, made of Arctic anchovy and organic olive oil and all sorts of wonderful good things. And I myself have taken the balance oils. They're tremendous, and they balance out the fatty acids, the omega fatty acids. If you have too much or too little of the fatty acids, then you're going to really suffer in many strange ways. Today, then, I'll just talk about, oops, sorry, it's my jumping mouse. Let me take you back to the compasses. Here we are. There's a nice anatomical design for you. Yeah, so Lodestone really reveals 4 deep guidance systems. And as I mentioned a moment ago, Compass 2 is about the breath and therefore the emotions and vital resilience, because the heart and the lungs and the throat are involved in this compass. And really aligning the heart with the lungs really helps to connect the lower body and the upper body through the breath. The breath is so important. It's our most superb asset. We breathe between 22 and 24,000 times every 24 hours. The planet provides oxygen, which we then take into our bodies, and our lungs here in the upper part of the chest process that oxygen, which is not immediately good for us, process it, these little branches and sacs flickering away 24/7. And for 50, 60, 70, maybe 80, 90 years, every 24 hours. It's a remarkable resource, our most cherished asset. And we're so lucky because planet Earth provides that raw oxygen. And it's the only planet that we know of that does. So we are in a really superb position as fully evolved human beings. Our bodies are 100% evolved. Unfortunately, our minds and our spirits, in many cases, are not nearly as evolved as that. And that's why I'm here, to help guide you, to help your spirit and your body become evolved. So, yeah, basically here are the and looks. And this is the heart is a muscle. Don't be led to believe it's anything else than that. It's just a muscle, but it's a superb muscle, very big, powerful muscle. And in fact, the heart emits electromagnetic vibration 60 times stronger than the brain. We think the brain is the be-all and the end-all, but in fact, the brain is very, very small compared with the heart. And we give far too much importance to the mind. The body is the wise part of this trinity, the body, spirit, mind. And the spirit is the guide. The mind really is just a tool, and we can use it to great advantage in the visual, intellectual world. But more than that, no, it really is a glorified note taker, an interpreter, and very mischievous. It can mislead you terribly. Yeah. So beware of your mind. Here are the lungs. This is a wonderful GIF to show the incredible detail of the lungs. They are your most remarkable organ, and they're flickering away 24/7 to process the raw oxygen in all these tiny little sacs. They retain the nutrients and they drive out the unwanted components of oxygen so we don't get sick. Yeah, so here are a few facts about the lungs that you may not know and the heart. Your lungs, if we unfolded everything and laid it out, would be half the size of a tennis court. But it's all compacted into the top part of your chest. Oops, sorry, keep putting my fingers on my mouse. To make it really efficient inside your body. Yes, as I mentioned, the heart emits electromagnetic fields 60 times stronger than the brain. Yeah, you breathe more than 20,000 times a day, mostly unconsciously, but breathing consciously is tremendously good for your body. And in fact, conscious breathing transforms your biology into inner balance. 1 hour a day, consciously breathing, really staying with your breath, whether it's in an activity, a sport, or whether it's a meditation, and you're really focusing on the breath, then you will be very healthy. And in fact, the lungs, as you get older, they start to shrink. The membrane around the sacs that process the oxygen is very fragile, actually. And as you get older, it starts to shrink, like everything does when you get older, if you let it. And so conscious breathing every day for at least 1 hour will keep your lungs large and healthy, and you won't suffer from many of the lung disorders that older people do suffer from, emphysema, for example, of course, cancer, bronchitis. There are many lung diseases that strike us in later life. So, yeah, keep images in your mind. The muscle of the heart, which is tremendously strong muscle, and really is the center of your body. And then the lungs, which work in conjunction with the heart to sustain your life. So, yeah, my compass, Lodestone 1, helps you. There are 3 stages that are repeated. The first stage is detecting vibrations, which is whole body listening. Spoken to you about that before. Second is anchoring your breath. And this is really important because the breath anchors us into here and now. And then the third stage is the spine. So those 3 elements are so important in my work, in my balancing work. And we repeat those in Lodestone over a 30-day period, 10 times. And each time is different as you begin to really develop your compass strength. So yes, breathing into the rib cage is really important for awakening you. It doesn't force you into anything, but it helps you to really feel if you breathe into your rib cage. So very good thing is to lie on your back. Yeah, lie on your back, feel your ribs against the floor or the grass, wherever you're lying, and breathe into your back deeply. Okay, this will really help to balance your compasses. Yeah, one author says, let the lungs open like wings, unfurling clarity. Feel your heart's pulse, not just as a rhythm, but a message. Yeah. So my lodestone is a kind of sanctuary for awakening these compasses within you that have been dormant because the mind has dominated everything. And we can best do this through our experience. And so Lodestone 1 is a 30-day program every day, 30 minutes, and you are really experiencing something. We can talk about balancing the inner compasses until we're blue in the face. Theory will get you nowhere with embodiment. It's experience that counts, and that's why I'm here and why I'm encouraging you to come to this session so you can get some real experience of embodiment. Yeah, the heart really is remarkable. In a way, it has its own brain. 40,000 sensory neurons exist in the heart. You can see from my image how complex it is. And the heart sends more signals to the brain than vice versa. In Eastern medicine, we say the heart is the emperor, not the mind. In the East, I live in Japan, by the way, deliberately because of this, really, because I'm a body worker, and the heart is the absolute core of any body work. Yeah, the heart is the emperor in the East. But in the West, neurocardiology is now a new science. And this is great because it throws light on the fact that emotion is so important in our lives and that the body has enormous wisdom, which we largely ignore. Yeah, here's another model of the lungs. They're remarkable. Little sacs are responsible for processing the oxygen, and these are working 24/7 for decades in a modern life because we live so long now. We now have a woman in Japan who's 116, and she's superbly healthy. She works still. She has great, great, great grandchildren. Yeah, she's remarkably healthy. So we can live a long and beautiful life. Yeah, but shallow breathing, which we do mostly, most of us do, especially when we're screen staring or working, then this is really a survival mode of breathing. And it's quite stressful for the body. And it's disconnecting. It disconnects us. Shallow breathing disconnects us from our true nature. As I mentioned, deep conscious breath is all about presence, intuition, aliveness. Yeah. So my Lodestone product follows this approach: body first, mind after. Yeah, let's try it. When I ring my bell, just allow your eyelids to drop a little bit. Don't close your eyes entirely because you'll get too sleepy. Just keep a rim open, look at the tip of your nose, and let's just do 1 minute of mindful breathing right now. Okay, with your eyes lowered, take one mindful breath now. Okay, I'd like you to inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and rest. Let's do it once more. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and rest. And one more. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and rest. Just those 3 conscious breaths every so often during your day will make such a difference and will make all of your lung activity so much healthier. These will all start to shrink and the membrane, your lung sac around them, will start to shrink as you get older. And so this kind of conscious breathing will really help your lungs to stay healthy. Now go back and think about that mindful breath. And where did you feel it? Probably in your spine, probably in your lower back. Yeah, this is the power of conscious breathing. It's tremendously healthy. Okay, if you wish, you can allow your eyelids now to float open and just look into the screen. Okay, and just with those 3 deep breaths, you may notice now that you're sitting more upright, your spine is more vertical, the crown of your head is going up into the heavens, the base of your spine if you're sitting, down into your seat, or if you're standing, down into your feet. Just that consciousness for 3 breaths can really make a change. Okay, just moving on a bit. Yes, talking about the heart. Really, the heart is my favorite organ. I think it's a tremendous organ. And when it works with the lungs, so important. I live in Japan. This is a very wonderful temple. I think it's my favorite in Kyoto called Byodoin. And really, in a way, this temple, which is so perfect and glorious with its reflections in the temple lake, is rather like the heart in the center of the human body. Kyoto was the old capital of Japan, tremendously spiritual place, more than 40,000 temples and shrines, really is a very special spiritual place. So at the center of the chest, there is a shrine. This is an Indian saying from the Upanishads. Breath is the bridge between body and soul. This is Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist peace activist, Vietnamese, who is sadly no longer with us, but is with us still. And then thirdly, the heart knows before the mind is ready. Yeah, the heart has no comparison with the mind. The mind is just a small tool that we use to access. But the heart is something which really is at our root. And this is a quotation from my book about Aboriginal wisdom. I'll tell you more about that another time. Yes, women's and men's hearts, no, they're not the same. Yeah, female hearts are much smaller, faster, they beat faster, and they present more subtle symptoms if there's a problem. Men's hearts are larger, stronger, they pump more vigorously, but they get blocked more often. And that's why men seem to die earlier than women. If you're a female, then post-menopause can be a difficult time for the heart. And it's important to get the right kind of rest for your heart. Yeah, and emotional stress affects women's hearts more acutely, and that's why we're called the fairer sex, because we are more emotional. We can bring all sorts of nuances to human life that men cannot. And that's because of our hormones and also our hearts. Yeah, that's right. We have small, rapid beating hearts, very potent. Yeah, now I've mentioned, as I mentioned before, I am a Zinzino partner. I love the idea of science balanced with spirit. And the omega-3 EPA and DHA oil supports normal heart function. It reduces inflammation which it kills more than 60% of human beings. It's responsible for diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular problems, and cancer, which is an inflammation condition. Lung benefits, yeah. If your Zinzino balance oil is taken regularly, it will really have lots of benefits for your lungs. It supports airway health and immune modulation. And you can take a blood test with Zinzino right at the beginning of your course of 120 days of balance oil. And this will show your ratio. And by the end of the 120 days, your ratio will have adjusted and you will be feeling so much better. I remember so clearly how much better I felt. I'd had problems with my nails getting older. They wouldn't grow, they were brittle and they broke easily. Taking this balance oil changed all that. I've now got really lovely, healthy nails. So yes, body meets science, and Lodestone meets Zinzino. I really recommend Zinzino balance oils, and there are many other products they produce. They're 100% pure. And if you'd like to know more about those, please contact me. I'm a partner, so I have lots of information and I can talk you through that. Okay, so the heart and the lungs, yeah. Yeah, with Lodestone, I go through heart and lungs 10 times on the 30-day journey. I encourage you to journal, write down how you're feeling. Then I encourage you to book a Zoom session. Actually, it would be not Zoom now, it would be Google Meet session. I've changed from Zoom to explore how we can go on to the third compass, which is the solar plexus, just below the breastbone here. And you can also join other Lodestoners in the inner sanctuary if you join us, and you can compare notes. So yes, next week I'm going to talk about compass 3, the solar plexus, which is the center of gravity, body, and is incredibly important. So there we have it. Let me stop sharing. Wonderful. So I hope you've learned something useful about the heart and lungs. This compass of your body is vital if you want to live long and live happily, healthily. Then you need to start thinking about your heart-lung health. So please contact me if you would like a non-mainstream medical way of doing this. Of course, you can get drugs, which will speed up the process, but the drugs have side effects, and you're not in control, really, if a physician prescribes drugs for any heart problems or lung problems you have. It's much better to go down the natural route, develop your own resilience using natural products and natural approaches like meditation and mindfulness, and then you'll remain totally in control of your own health. We really must stop outsourcing our health to strangers who are qualified, wearing white coats. We need to take care of our own health ourselves as far as we can, at least make the effort to do that. And that's why my Lodestone is tremendous, gets you started on mindful practice in a daily process. And Zinzino is great too, because you can get the science as well. So a great combination. So thank you so much for joining me on Lodestone Lunch. We don't have any people in the studio yet, but we'll put this video out and hope you benefit from it. And if you'd like any further information or you'd like to join us, then please DM me. I'll put some information below this window, the live window when we post the video. And yeah, I'll get in touch with you if you give me your details. So thank you. I've enjoyed talking to you today. This is Linden Thorp, Lodestone Lunch. I'll be here next Monday. Look forward to seeing you then. Have a great week. Bye for now.